What's going on? If you're seeing me, I'm just setting up here for part 5 of how to earn passive income with crypto. It's prosperity for the masses part 5. And so I'm going to dive into it. Let me just get set up on my screen. So this is a deeper dive into ultimately what I talked about in part 4. So if you missed part 4 and you are feeling lost while you're watching this, you can stop this video and then watch part 4 first, and then this will make sense. And then come back and watch this, and this will make sense. So let me share my screen. If you're on, welcome. Thanks for watching. And then just make this full screen so you can see it better. So part 5. So in part 4, we talked about how to earn money with crypto. And basically, if you have money in the savings account, or if you have like lunch money or coffee money that you're gonna spend on silly stuff anyway, what are you gonna do with it? That basically you can plant seeds now that you can grow later, right? So that's what we talked about in part 5. So again, if you haven't seen that, totally go there. But let me cover it real quick. So we talked about dollar cost averaging in part 4, and ultimately this is just a way so you can save on basically not having to buy low and sell high. Dollar cost averaging just basically makes sure that you're getting the best deal all the time because it averages your cost. And so over time, it's really cheap to do it. The fees are basically how do you call this? It none whatever. I'm trying to be fancy with my words. It's very tiny. The fees are very tiny, but the return can be anywhere from 300 to 400% if you were to do this strategy. So the caveat, and then we talked about the high interest on your crypto savings as well, and we talked about Nexo.io as the source for that. And so the caveat for these strategies is that I love them both. I use them both because I think everyone needs to do both, right? Because you need to have something that is growing, right? You need to have an investment that's growing. And also, you need to at least take out your money from a traditional bank and stop earning 0.5%, 0.5% to anywhere from 6 to sometimes 20%, depending on where you have your money, right? And so, but the thing with this is that it's not going to change your daily life, right? Because if you're doing dollar cost averaging, you're waiting for Bitcoin or Ethereum to basically grow, appreciate over the years, right? And grow in value. But the problem with that is you have to wait, right? If you want money now, let's say to invest in another business or to just use for daily expenses, you can't really touch that money. Otherwise, it's not going to grow because you're going to take it out, right? But if you do leave it there, I guarantee it's going to grow at least 300 to 400% in 3 years, right? I show you the example of that in the last session in part 4. So you'll have to hold it there for 3 years. That's the only caveat to that. The other is that if you're holding in a savings account, for instance, you also need to keep it there to keep earning high interest, right? 6 to 12%. So I'm giving you a couple of options now to where you can, so what are your other options? If you want passive income, like if you want to actually be able to use it on a daily basis, or for something like to invest in a business or something like that, right? Or for a rainy day, like if you want to keep your assets there, what are your options as far as getting actually some liquidity, some money out of your Bitcoin or out of your savings, your crypto savings account, right? So the first option is I talked about this in session 1, where you get a loan with your crypto asset and then hold that asset as a collateral. So traditionally, if you want to get a loan at the traditional bank, they have to pull your credit history, you have to pay high interest fees, You had to make monthly payments, wow, right? But now with crypto, you can literally um, get a loan with a click of a button. They don't background check you. You pay low interest and you don't have to make monthly payments, right? So this is one way that you can do it and still keeping your crypto asset intact, which is amazing, right? I recently tested this and I was able to get a loan like literally in minutes, which was amazing. And my all my assets are still in the crypto savings account, which is great. So the one that I use is nexo.io. And so just go to this website, nexo.io. You can click on borrow on their website and you can get all of these information there and read up on it if you want. But this is, I just took a screenshot of it and it says, basically you can borrow as much as 6.9% APR. They're backed they're backed by like millions of dollars worth, kind of like a FDIC insured, which is similar to a traditional bank, right? No origination fees, right? They're not going to charge you a loan fee, automatic approval, like I mentioned. You don't have to repay it as long as your crypto is there, right? And then it's available from as small as $50 to $2 million, right? This is from Nexo.io. So again, if you're looking to, let's say, get, hey Sarah Lou, hey Nadine, nice to see you. If you're looking to keep your asset there, you can borrow against it, right? And you don't have to repay it, and it's at a low interest rate. You do have to pay interest rate, which is okay, right? Because if you're to say on Bitcoin, you're getting 8% on your Bitcoin, and your rate monthly rate is 6.9%, then you're still making more interest than what if you kept it in the bank basically, right, on that asset. So this is another screenshot that I took from their borrow page on their website. Again, it's a smart credit line. You can repay it anytime you want. You don't have to repay it every month if you don't want to, which is very, very smart. So again, just go to nexo.io if you want to just check it out. But it would mean that you, let's say, dollar cost average some Bitcoin, which is what I did. Again, I discussed this in more detail in session 4. I transferred my Bitcoin from where I was doing the dollar cost averaging in. I transferred it to Nexo, and then from Nexo, I was able to test this idea and actually borrowed money against my crypto assets, which is really, really cool. So check that out. The other option is the one I'm also doing. This is a screenshot also from session 4, which is automated bots. So obviously, this requires a little bit more investment, maybe a little bit more preparation, right? When I first found out about it, I'm like, I don't have, $3,000 to put into a bot, but I got really, really resourceful and did the DCA strategy, right? I actually moved our savings account. I'm not a financial advisor. If you need access to your savings account right away, um, totally don't do it that way. But we decided that it's really, really a great idea for us to put our savings account into the bots, because what you're looking at here under bot profit on this column right here, where it's like 1,600 right here in the bottom, 752, $1,009, 628, 175 in 9 days, right? Just looking at this, what you're looking at is profit that I can withdraw right away if I wanted to. But what we did was we took our profit out of all of these bots right here, the first 4 bots, and we started our newest one right here, which is why this is only 9 days apart, 9 days old. And so that is great. This is why it's called passive income. So if you're just hodling or saving, or if you're just dollar cost averaging, that's not really passive income, because you're not actually getting income every month from it. Because again, you have to hold it there to access the gains from the asset, right? But from here, when you set up the automated bots, you can withdraw your profit immediately. Like, it's in your exchange, you can get it out right away whenever you need it. We just decided to reinvest it because we don't need it right now, but you can do it at any time. So that is really it. I wanted to just say that to say thank you to those that have tuned in, have asked questions, whether it's from the comments or sent me questions directly. I really appreciate it. If you have any further questions about any of the topics I've discussed, this is the last session, right? So if you have any questions at all, maybe you're just watching the replay, you weren't able to join live, feel free to ask the questions either in the comments or send me a message directly. By the way, if you want to take advantage of those automated bots, my mentors training is only available until the end of the day today. So if this is something that you want to get into, want to learn a little bit more about, go ahead and just say info or training in the comments, and I'll send you that information so you can at least get informed as to how are we doing these automated bots. Because seriously, I am very passionate about this. We have been doing that strategy, that last strategy that I showed you for the last 3 months. And I am just like passionate about sharing the results that we're getting because I really believe I titled this series Prosperity for the Masses because I really do believe that anyone who is able to see the trend that we're seeing in this crypto industry, in in the blockchain technology, all of the changes, all the developments, and all the money that's going into developing all these technologies is just proof that this is where our society is going. And so I wanted to share this to you now while it's like the perfect time, literally the perfect time. It's not too late. Bitcoin has been around for the last 12 years, but it's not too late because we are still heading for mass adoption, right? So it's still very early in the game. It's still a very ripe industry to invest in. Think about this in terms of the internet when we didn't know what the internet is, how big it's going to be. That's exactly how crypto and the blockchain technology is going to be. And so you're going to wish that you have started earlier than later. So that's why I did these last 5 sessions to just serve, give you the right information, give you a platform to just ask questions if you have them. And then again, if you have a friend that you think will benefit from this, definitely tag them in the comments, share this video. And again, I can answer any questions that you guys have. If there's any topics that I didn't cover that maybe you have that question, I'll be happy to share any resource that I have and know of with you. With that, we'll end this session. We'll end this series. Thanks for tuning in. Until next time. Bye bye.